Coming up today on That LTD Life, it's Legitt with 2 T's, a new lifetime deal over at AppSumo. For document signing, you can create proposals or contracts. You know, this sounds a lot like the tool I reviewed just yesterday called Notch. Now, Notch took a very interesting kind of block-based approach to creating documents. I have a feeling that Notch is going to be quite a bit different than Legitt, particularly because Legitt has AI in the name, so it's clearly going to be more technologically proficient and modern. Or will it? I like Notch quite a bit. How will Legitt stack up? We're gonna find out. But first, I've got to do the mention that this is currently on sale for the next 5 days. This is not a sponsored video. I've got a link in the description. After 5 days, the price will just go up. It will remain on AppSumo, but just at a higher price. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get onboarded with Legitt right now. We will come back at the end of the video and check out the pricing plans over at AppSumo. But for now, we'll do the onboarding experience. If you wanna skip ahead, I've got the chapter markers down below. They're making me do one of these things. Looks like we got a username and password situation here. They are still going to do OTP verification. Of course, I've got an autofill for my code because I am using Safari and I am good to go here. All right, so I am now logged into my account, and the first thing it says is, what do you want to do? I can create sales documents or contracts. So sales documents are going to be things like managing leads and opportunities. That's interesting. That sounds like a CRM. I can create a proposal, send proposals to customers, and sign documents. Or on the contract side of things, I can create, review, sign, or try Repository Analyzer for your contracts. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and click next here, but I wanna point out it looks like there are some integrations with Salesforce, whatever this one is with the door, Oracle, HubSpot. I don't know some of these logos, to be honest. All right, they're telling me I have 14 days of a free trial. That's gotta be a little bit of an error. And here we are, we're actually inside of the account. It says your latest alerts will appear here. I've got Lana, a new member in my team, and it's an assistant that will help me create, sign, and track contracts. All right, so this looks pretty cool. Over on the left-hand sidebar, the first thing that jumped out to me is there is actually a Legitt CRM here. So let's click on that and find out what it looks like. All right, so this is the dashboard screen. I can go ahead and create a new lead by clicking on New, choosing Lead, and I've got a little form to fill out here. I'll enter a company name. I can assign this to a particular user. Boy, this is not what I was expecting when I saw it was a document creation tool. All right, so overall, kind of looks like a full-featured CRM. We can enter our contact name in, give it an expected value. I'm gonna be working with Tesla, so just add all of the zeros. We can set a close date and choose a source for our customer, where they came from, website, referral, social media, so on and so forth. And then a little note box here for a description. All right, I'm gonna register this customer. It says email is required. I thought I entered that, but I think it was a contact email. All right, I've entered that customer, and now my dashboard is filled up a little bit more. I've got this one lead with quite a bit of money attached to it, 0 opportunities. I could repeat this process here for opportunities, but let's go ahead and check out the leads board here. That's exactly what I was hoping I'd see, a little pipeline. I can drag. No, I can't drag. All right, we gotta work on that. All right, so if I wanted to move them through the pipeline, I'd simply have to update it over here and go to contacted, save changes, it refreshes, and then moves it over. So a little sales pipeline for my leads. I've got a little sales pipeline for my opportunities. And then I've got a database over here of all my records. And that's essentially what the CRM is. The next option over here is called Inbox. And it looks like this is where the documents will live after I've created them. So we're just gonna skip ahead to the next section, which actually says create. And I get Lana showing up again, asking me if I want to do a sales enablement or a contract management. Well, let's do sales. Let's make a proposal. How about a proposal template, pre-existing templates? And then which editor would I like to use? I'm gonna stick with the Legitt editor, and I don't have my own template. So now I can choose one of their templates here. I will do, how about a video production proposal? We've got some animations, and there we go. I've got my own video production proposal. Much more of a traditional looking tool than Notch, which we saw yesterday. With Notch, there really was no way to just upload a PDF and then like attach signature fields, which a lot of people might want to do that, especially if they have existing contracts and they just are looking for a way to get things signed. Not really a document signing tool in that respect, other than it has a signature field. However, right here, we definitely could start with a doc file, upload it, and then just start customizing it and adding in those signature fields and other relevant fields. So here is our content. Basically, the way the content section works is that you just place your mouse in the document somewhere. So I'll go after this bulleted list. And then let's say I wanted to have an image. Well, I could simply click on the image selector. And then I get this little block that shows up right here, and I can click to upload an image. Now, no integrations with any stock libraries, but and I don't actually even think it went where I wanted it to, which is right there. Let's try to add text right here. It's always kind of adding it in a weird spot. There's a pricing table block. Let's try adding that in. All right, that again just kind of went in this kind of random spot. Overall, using the editor in Notch was delightful and amazing. And so far, the editor inside of Legitt, kind of more disappointing. The next section down here is to manage recipients. So if I click on this, I can add customers, collaborators, or approvers. So let's go ahead and test this out. We'll add a customer. All right, here is my customer info. And then under need to accept, I can say needs to accept or receives a copy. So if they're not actually a signer, I could have basically a way to make sure they're still informed on the agreement. Let's go ahead and add this user, even though it's a fake email address. All right, there we go. Here is our customer added to the document. The next option down is for variables. There's actually quite a few variables you can use throughout the document. So as an example, let's say the budget for this was, I don't know, how about $100,000? So we'll just type in 100,000. And then anywhere I wanted that to show up inside of the contract, I could simply use one of these variables. So I'll paste in the variable, and there you go. It actually updates to 100,000. Now later on, let's say the client's budget changes and it's 250,000. Well, everywhere that variable was used, it's going to be updated automatically. That's a really cool touch. There is a section for uploading annexures if you need to do that, as well as a full document history and document versions. The last option down here is for document comments. So any of these sections I click on, you can see there's kind of an outline around the block. So if we went back to content here and we brought in a new text element, that would essentially be one unit. Well, let's say I wanted to comment on this first section. I can simply click the comment over here. This is my comment. There it is. Hit comment. And then it says failed to add comment. Well, what's wrong with the comment? All right, we'll try this again. I'm going to choose this smaller block of text. I'll add a comment, my comment, and it failed to add the comment. I'm not sure why. All right, so comment's not working for me out of the gates. I don't think that should be complex, but I can't get it working yet. All right, let's say I'm all done here. I'm going to click on Finish Proposal. It moves to the next section, which says Send Proposal to Customers. All right, it looks like that was done. It was like really quick, no confirmation that the email was going out or what it was going to say. But it looks like it's sent. I could resend it over here, or I could recall it right there. I wonder what that means. So it says document successfully recalled. I guess at this point I could edit it. So yeah, just let's confirm that. So once it's sent to the customer, now I can't go in and make any changes. I'd have to actually recall it before sending it again. And then under our document history, we can see it was sent to customers, but it's still pending being accepted by John Doe. Much like Notch, there is chat right up here in the upper right-hand corner. I could go ahead and start a conversation about this document if I'd like. And there is also a download button here as well. All right, so now we've created our very first proposal. And the next section down is called Manage. So in Manage, I can see I've got a pending folder here, and it has one document currently in it. I assume that if this document were to be signed, which it never will be because it was sent to john@example.com, it would automatically move over to finished. That's kind of a cool, nice little organizational system. I like the old school graphics of folders, kind of reminds me of Windows 95. There's a couple of filters at the top here to show only company documents, as well as documents that have been shared with me specifically. There's a dedicated section over here on the left for alerts. This is to let me know if anything is going wrong with any of the documents. I don't necessarily like this being in a separate category. I think it should show up as I'm looking at my overall documents, maybe have some alerts here, like something's overdue. That might make more sense than making me go to check for alerts, because chances are if I'm so far behind, I won't even bother looking at the alerts. There's a task section over here. Let's go ahead and try this out. All right, so I've just created a task here with a little description. I can set a due date. Let's make it due tomorrow, or that wasn't right. I clicked on a date and went like out. Okay, so it's not using American. Okay, so I'm an American, so we do month, day, year. Here, this is clearly not. This is going day, month, year. So I wonder if there's a way to change that, because it will be confusing to my fellow Americans. But I want to click the 30th here, and then I'm going to click away. All right, work this time. Good. We can attach an attachment here. We can assign it to a team member if we've added any, add it to our Google Calendar, or save it as an alert. Let's do that. You can classify this, by the way, as a general task or a document task, and then assign it to a specific document. That's kind of cool. Now, the document that I just created doesn't show up here. So Perhaps I would have to have not sent it already for it to show up. All right, I'm going to create a general task, which is going to be, outside of a document. And here's what it looks like. And now if I go over to alerts, I've got that mentioned there as well. Okay, so those are alerts and tasks. The next section down is contacts, which is interesting since we already had our CRM up here. So I've got my customers, and the contact that I added to the CRM does not show up here. I'd have to integrate the CRM. Oh, I can connect up Monday or Zoho. All right, well, I'm not going to do that, but I could add a customer here. So let's do that. Oh, maybe I have to click this plus button. All right, so we click the plus button to add our customers in. I think since they're building out the CRM functionality, it should just replace this. But it looks like we can add customers and vendors, and kind of here are the different fields that you'd be able to add in. The next feature up is smart contracts, and this very well might be a killer feature for a lot of people out there. Smart contracts, if you're not familiar, are done on the blockchain. So they are verified on the blockchain, very, very difficult to compromise and make any illegal changes to a contract that is on the blockchain. So essentially what we do here is upload a document, and then it's going to generate some credentials, send that contract to the blockchain network. We connect up to MetaMask, get approved from gas, and then so I'm not a crypto guy. I don't really know what a lot of these things are. Not going to go too deep into the smart contract thing, but I know that someone out there probably will and be a lot more authoritative about it. But it looks like eventually we'll get a QR code for our contract, and that's kind of the end result. All right, the next option down is the Repo Analyzer. I'm going to come back to that. It's not available on every AppSumo plan. Let's go down here to reports and analytics first. So this is just kind of an overview of how many contracts or documents we've got out, what state they're in, and then we've got multiple views of that same information. This is overall information. Here's a daily and a monthly trend. We've got our org settings here. Maybe I can change the way dates appear. Let's go ahead and check this out. We'll go under organization rules. So organizational rules is going to allow you to set up a chain of command. So we can add different departments in, different designations, and different approvers. And then we can set up rules to make sure that contracts are agreed in a certain order before things get finally approved. So what we can do here is after adding in all of our different departments and approvers, we can set up a sequential approval based on a specific hierarchy inside of your company. So this is really only going to be relevant if you've got quite a large company with all of these different departments that need to sign off on things. But definitely more advanced than something like BreezeDoc from AppSumo, which is going to be, covering 99% of what people watch my channel are doing with their business. This is much more of, I want to say, like a medium to enterprise style contract agreement procedure. All right, also under org settings here, we've got templates where we can, like I mentioned before, simply upload our template and then customize it inside of the Legitt editor or even using Word. And so this is going to be kind of that typical document signing experience that most people will be after. So you just fill out the information about the template here, give it a name and description, hit upload. You can select the file, your existing Word document, and then add the template right here. This is a really nice feature, especially if you already have an existing library of contracts or proposals that you want to simply modify. You can add them all into Legitt and then very quickly iterate upon them. So the template system looks really, really well thought out. The next several options here under org settings, regions, entities, verticals or business units, agreement types. These are all kind of like custom fields where you'll add in your entities, your regions that you work in, your different verticals that are important to your business, and then they'll be reused throughout things like the templates and the organization rules. We can also add in clauses. So these are basically like placeholder clauses that you'll be adding to your contracts. You just hit add company clause after you fill out this form here. And we can even add our own products in here. Just hit add product, give it a name, a display name, a description, choose your billing, whether it's recurring or one-off, and you'll be good to go there. I don't see any integrations with payment processors yet, but maybe we'll get there. Yes, here it is. Under org settings, basic details, we've got our Stripe settings right down here, as well as Razorpay. So I've gone through all of the settings and I never found an option for changing that calendar option. Instead of saying month, day, year, it says day, month, year. As an American, that would absolutely be a deal breaker for using this tool. So hopefully they can add that feature in rather quickly. I know it's a small thing, but like if people are getting the dates wrong, that is definitely a deal breaker. All right, the last feature I have not touched upon is this Repo Analyzer. Here's what the Repo Analyzer looks like. It's going to analyze and review our contracts. Honestly, I have no idea what this feature is doing. They really need a little bit of onboarding to explain this system. I just see a lot of loading screens about generating, transforming, and extracting. None of the sections are clickable at all. I've got two modes over here, contract analysis and contract review. If I click into contract review, I get a different set of screens that are loading. There's a button down here that says upload repository, and when I click on that, nothing happens. So checking out the AppSumo deal page, the repository section here is supposed to use AI to examine the documents and identify action items for better contract management. It will also categorize, tag, and index contracts and unlock insights on contract portfolios. So that sounds really great, and perhaps this would eventually come through. Like maybe it has to chew on, I only added the one contract, but maybe it needs to chew on that for a little bit before I see some data. I mean, that wouldn't be unreasonable in my mind. So heading over to the AppSumo deal page, let's take a look at the plans and pricings for Legitt. There are quite a few different options. So tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, I don't know if I remember a more drastic, just visual approach to the number of features you're going to get. So obviously with tier 3, we get a huge list here. There are more tiers, by the way. It goes all the way up to tier 6. No new features added in after tier 3, but the plan that you're assigned to. So here we're on an enterprise plan on tier 6. Back on tier 3, it's only a pro plan. In fact, it's pro for tiers 3 and 4 and enterprise for tiers 5 and 6. That's meaningful not only because you'll get more credits, but if they add new features in the future and you want to be on the highest tier plan, well, then you have to go up to tier 5 or tier 6. So what are we getting with tier 1? Well, we get e-signing, of course, then we get 50 monthly signatures and 100 signed contracts stored on the platform. We go up to tier 2, doubling our investment or our cost. I don't like calling these things investments. You're not investing in the business, you're becoming a customer. We get 50 monthly signatures, same amount as before, 100 signed contracts, but now we start to get some of the AI features. 50 AI content generator credits, 50 review credits, and 200 Legitt Magic Write credits. So remember when I was creating the contract, here is the AI assisting me in actually creating that contract. I can do that 50 times a month, which would work out because I get 50 signatures a month as well. Now, if you go up to tier 3 and above, this is where you get the Repo Analyzer, which I never really got to work. So we get a single repository with 10 file uploads per repository. That might be the thing. Maybe the upload button isn't working for me. 10 megabyte uploads per file, 20 pages per file, 50 daily queries, and 15 searchable alerts per repository. Oh, there's a couple of other distinguishing points I just noticed as we go through the plans here. They've essentially broken this down into 3 different products. We've got the e-signing, we've got the AI portion, and then we've got the analyzer portion. So for the e-signing, this is the pro plan. We move up to tier 4, stays pro, move up to tier 5, becomes enterprise. All right, so that's one portion. Let's roll back to tier 3. For AI, we're on starter on tier 2 and 3. If we move up to tier 4, it's still starter. Tier 5, it becomes business. And tier 6, it becomes, it stays on business. All right. Then the Repo Analyzer, which will become enterprise at tier 6 and is business at tier 5, even though e-signing is enterprise at tier 5. So very confusing deal here. Don't really like how confusing it is. It seems like overly complex. But you know what it reminds me of? Medium to large businesses, which are overly complex and nothing I really want to deal with, which is kind of like this tool, right? It's just not meant for someone like me. If you have a medium to large business, perhaps you're going to save tens of thousands of dollars by grabbing this lifetime deal. Not so for me. I'm definitely going to be passing on this one. I much prefer tools like Notch or BreezeDoc. Those are better suited to businesses my size. So you have to make that decision for yourself. However, I'm going to score it from my point of view. I'm going to give Legitt probably a 5.2. That's about, I think about right. That's a fair score for Legitt. So if you want to grab Legitt or anything over at AppSumo, if you found this video to be helpful, click the link in the description. Thank you very much to everybody who has done so. Also, consider checking out clientamp.com where you can get signed up for our free email newsletter. And hit me up with any questions down below. I appreciate all of the comments. It helps out with the algorithm. Make sure you like and subscribe and do all of that good stuff. My name is Dave. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next review.